A very good morning, students. Welcome back to online class on Java programming course. In our last lecture, we have seen about this keyword. I've explained how this keyword is used in order to access the current class data members within the class. So all the concepts related to this keyword we have discussed in our last session. In today's session, I'm going to cover two important concepts. One is interfaces and the other one is packages. So these two things will wind up in today's session. So I'm expecting today's session will go a bit lengthy. So I used to post the lectures of 1 hour, like 50 minutes, sometimes 45 minutes. But today's lecture, I'm expecting it will go around 1.5 hours. So I need your cooperation, I need your patience, because if you watch this video and if you follow all the concepts whatever we are going to discuss in today's lecture, hopefully you can easily attempt uh, one LAQ from your external, from your not only internal but also the external, because packages and interfaces, it is a very important concept in your Java programming, and it is very easy to remember and it is very easy to practice as well. Okay, so quickly, without wasting much time, I will get into the concepts. So it is these interfaces and packages, they are the concepts from your second unit for IT people, and we also need to discuss about exception handling and multi-threading in this second unit for IT. But for CSC, if we complete these interfaces and packages, we are completing the second unit, because they have only interfaces and packages and inheritance in your in their second unit for CSC. So interfaces, inheritance we have already completed, and if we discuss about interfaces and packages, we are about to complete the second unit as well for CSC. But for IT, as I kept over here the syllabus, we need to discuss exception handling as well as multi-threading. So exception handling, it will take one more session, and multi-threading, it will take another session. So in two sessions, I'll be completing the second unit for IT people. But if you see this exception handling and multi-threading, it is a separate unit for CSC people. So if I complete the second unit for IT, I'm completing the third unit also for CSC. Then afterwards we will get into some GUI concepts, because every time when we are going for these collections and other stuff, they are simpler. I mean, they are very easy to understand and they are very easy to remember. If we are wasting the time with those collections and other stuff, we are not practicing the important concept in Java, that is JDBC and GUI. So this time what I am planning is, after completing this exception handling and multi-threading, directly I will get into the GUI concepts. Okay, the AWT, swings, JavaFX. We will get into the GUI concepts, and after completing GUI, we will go for JDBC. And once we complete JDBC, then we will come back to this collections framework. Okay, so in that way I have planned, and hardly believe me, to complete this second unit and the third unit for CSC, I will take another 2 to 3 sessions. So with that we will conclude up to the basics in Java programming, and so that we can start the advanced Java concepts from our next session onwards. So up to multi-threading, whatever we will discuss, all these things will come under the core Java concepts. And from collections, GUI, okay, IO package is also a part of core Java only. So collections framework as well as GUI programming, they comes under advanced Java. JDBC also comes under advanced Java. Okay, so quickly, just see what do we have to discuss in today's session. So the first concept, that is interfaces, will start. So interfaces, we can uh, call it like a blueprint of a class. Okay, interface, how we can define means it is a blueprint of a class. So generally, if you want to make something like abstraction, if you want to achieve abstraction in Java, we go for these interfaces. So interface, it is similar to your class, but it is not a class. So when I'm saying similar, it exhibits the properties of a class. So the way how we create a class, in that similar way we create an interface. The way how we put both data members and methods inside a class, in a interface also we can put data members and methods. But the data members and methods what we are keeping inside a class, and the data members and methods what we are keeping inside an interface, they are different. Okay, inside a class you can keep any type of variables. Okay, there need not to be any restriction on what type of variables and what type of access specifiers, whether it is final, static, public, private, protected, default, what type of variable it is. There is no access restriction when you are keeping the variables inside a class. You can even put private data members inside a class. But when it comes to your interface, you can keep only the static final variables. That means whatever variables you are creating inside a interface, they needs to have a constant value. So definitely you need to make that variable like a final variable. Okay, they need to have the constant values, so we are making those variables as final, and they need to be public. You cannot make them as protected. They need to be public. Public means any class, any other interface, it should have the perfect access of these variables. Okay, and then when it comes to methods inside an interface, we can keep only the public methods, and they need to be abstract. Abstract means they're not going to have any body. Okay, those methods, they are not going to have any body. Simply we put the method signature with parameters. Okay, body we are not giving. Implementation, when I'm saying body, in my previous session only I explained this thing to you. When I'm saying body of the method, that is nothing but the implementation of the method. So for an abstract method which we are keeping inside an interface, we should not supply the implementation. We should not give the implementation. Hopefully you understood. So quickly read out the points whatever I kept over here, so that we will move forward and we discuss other concepts related to these interfaces. So the first point, the definition of an interface. If you see, an interface in Java is a blueprint of a class. So basically, in order to get the functionality from a interface, because solely interface it is, we cannot instantiate. If you have only the interface in your program, you cannot get the functionality of an interface. So in order to get the functionality, in order to get the implementation, in order to get the working of an interface, definitely you need to depend on a class, a concrete class, so that you can instantiate your object. Isn't it? So that you can get the memory for your program, so that you can instantiate the object, so that you can access the internal members of a interface as well. Interface alone can't give any access to you. Definitely you have to depend on a class in order to get the functionality from the interface, because inside an interface what we are doing, we are just keeping the abstraction, we are just keeping the methods without body. If a method you have without the body, how can you expect the functionality from him? Isn't it? From it, definitely to get the functionality from a method, what we have to do, we have to provide the body first, and that body we are providing inside a class which is inheriting this interface. So that's the reason why we are saying an interface is nothing but it is a blueprint of a class. It is a blueprint of a class. So what if you are implementing a class from an interface, what that class must have to do, that will be imposed by the interface, because whatever methods we are going to define declare inside the interface, those methods must be implemented by the class. So if a class is inheriting a particular interface, that interface is some or the other way it is changing the behavior or having the control on the class, isn't it? When a particular class is inheriting an interface, that interface is having the control on that class. So because of that reason also we are saying an interface is nothing but it is the blueprint of the class. Okay, it has static constants. See here, just now I explained this one. Inside an interface we can have only the final variables, final and static variables. So that's the reason when we are saying final variables, they are nothing but the constants, isn't it? And those constants, they need to be static. Static means even without the object we can access those final variables. We will discuss in detail how, with programming code, how these static constants can be accessed. Okay, and abstract methods. So when we are saying abstract methods, their body we are not supplying, their implementation we are not supplying. We are just keeping the method declarations. Declarations means without the body, like a signature we are going to have over there, method signatures we are going to have over there. Okay, the interface is in Java is a mechanism to achieve abstraction. So through interfaces, what we are doing, we are achieving the abstraction mechanism. Okay, abstraction. Okay, interface in Java, it is a mechanism to achieve abstraction. Okay, there can be only abstract methods inside Java interface. So what we are keeping inside the Java interface in the sense, we are keeping only the abstract methods. We are not keeping other stuff. We are keeping only the abstract methods. Okay, not method body. When we are saying abstract methods, we are not supplying any body. Body is nothing but the implementation. When we are saying body, that is nothing but implementation. Implementation of the method we are not supplying. We are not supplying the body. We are giving only the abstract methods, only the signatures, only the declaration. Okay, so it is used to achieve abstraction as well as multiple inheritance in Java. So the important uses of interface is to achieve abstraction as well as multiple inheritance, to achieve the concept. Because so far with the classes, with the help of only classes, we said we cannot achieve the multiple inheritance. We can achieve only the simple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance. Hybrid as well as the multiple, to achieve, we are dependent on interfaces. So in order to achieve the multiple inheritance, we are going for interfaces. Okay, Java interface also represents the is a relationship. Is a relationship in the sense parent to child relationship, isn't it? When we are saying is a relationship, parent to child relationship, if you have an interface, from that interface you can implement a class. Implementing is nothing but inheriting. You can implement a class from an interface. Okay, about it in detail we will discuss. So this is a relationship. When we are having such a relationship between a class as and an interface, it is an is a relationship. Is a relationship. Remember this one. Is a relationship. Okay, so it cannot be instantiated just like the abstract class. So we said abstract class we cannot instantiate because it is having abstract methods. So in that same way, your interface, it can also not be instantiated because it is also not having any it is also having abstract methods. It is also having it is also not having the implementation for methods. Okay, because of that reason, your interface, it can also be not instantiated. Okay, remember this one. So from Java 8, because generally in an interface we can keep only the final variables and abstract methods, only the final variables and the abstract methods. But from Java 8, the 8th version of Java, we can even put the default methods. That also we will discuss. Default methods with implementations we can keep. Inside an interface, we can keep the default methods with implementation, that from Java 8 only. If your Java is an advanced Java, My version is an advanced version, so I will show you how you can keep the default methods inside an interface. That also we will discuss. Then we can also keep these static methods from Java 9 onwards. Okay, we can also keep the private methods, not static, sorry, private. So default and static we can keep from Java 8, and private methods we can keep from Java 9. Okay, Java 9. So up to Java 8 we will try to include, because even this thing is not there in your syllabus, but as a practice we are studying this one. Default and static members also we can keep within an interface from Java's 8th version onwards. Okay, this also we will practice. I will show you. Okay, quickly go. Why we are going for the interfaces? Because of three important reasons. Okay, three important reasons. The first reason, if you see, it is used to achieve abstraction. Okay, why we are using interface? In the sense it is used to achieve the abstraction is nothing but, already we had a prolonged discussion on abstraction, isn't it? Hiding the unnecessary details and showing only the necessary details is nothing but the abstraction. We already had a prolonged discussion on this abstraction keyword. Okay, abstraction concept. So then the second one, to implement multiple inheritance. So to achieve multiple inheritance we are going for interfaces, because only with the help of classes multiple inheritance concept is not possible to achieve. Because of that reason we are going for interfaces to achieve the multiple inheritance. As you can see over here, multiple inheritance to achieve, we are going for this interfaces concept. And the third one, the loose coupling mechanism. So it is one of the important property in Java, the loose coupling mechanism. Loose coupling and tightly coupling, loosely coupling, it is two different mechanisms. Where to understand this, because this concept is not there in your syllabus and not there in our discussion, but as we got the term in application of interface, I will explain you what does it mean. Okay, I will explain both the things, what is loose coupling and what is tight coupling. Suppose if you have classes, like we are having class A, just give me some time. Like if we are having class A, and from this class A I'm extending another class B. Okay, we have, this is the property of inheritance, isn't it? This is object oriented property inheritance, where we are inheriting a subclass from a superclass. Here superclass is A and subclass is B. So if you have like this, is a relationship, parent to child relationship, inheritance relationship between the classes, and if you are doing some changes in superclass, let us assume we are modifying or we are changing something inside the superclass, those changes will not make class B to change. Okay, if you are modifying something inside class A, that change should not affect class B. So whatever definitions you have written inside class B, or whatever code you have written inside class B, they should not get affected. They should not get affected. So this particular concept we call it as the loose coupling mechanism. And this mechanism is supported in Java. Loose coupling mechanism is supported in Java. So if you are doing some change in class A, and those changes, if they are affecting the class B, if those changes are affecting the class B, then it is tight coupling mechanism. Okay, Java is not tightly coupled, it is loosely coupled programming language. That means doing changes in superclass, those changes will not affect the subclass. Your subclass, even after extending the superclass, will remain like an independent entity. Remember this one. Even after extending a superclass, it is remaining like an independent thing. If you do some changes inside the superclass, those changes will not affect the subclass. Your subclass, even though it is extending the superclass, it behaves like an independent entity. So doing some changes inside the superclass should not affect the subclass. This is loose coupling mechanism. Okay, so to support loose coupling, we are going for interfaces. So these three are the major applications why we use interfaces in Java. The first thing to achieve abstraction, the second thing to achieve mechanism multiple inheritance, and third thing because it is used to achieve loose coupling as well. Okay. So then how to declare an interface, how to declare and how to use an interface in our programming, that we will study over here. How to declare an interface, in the sense an interface is declared using the interface keyword. We use the keyword interface. Like to declare a class in our programming, we are using the class keyword. So here to declare an interface, we use the interface keyword. Interface keyword. It provides total abstraction. Total means 100% abstraction you can expect from an interface. But for your from your abstract class, we said somewhere between 0 to 100 we are getting, isn't it? Somewhere between 0 to 100 percentage of abstraction we are getting from an abstract class. But when you use interface, you can get complete 100% abstraction, because your interface will not allow to put concrete methods within it, isn't it? Interface will not allow to put concrete methods within it. Because of that reason, we are saying 100% abstraction we are achieving from the interfaces. Okay, that means all methods in an interface are declared the empty body. Empty body means they are not going to have any body. Okay, all methods declared inside the interface, they will have empty body, means no body at all. Okay, no body at all. And all the fields are public, static and final by default. So whatever fields you are declaring, whatever variables you are declaring inside the interface, they must be public, static, final by default. Okay, they should have all these. Okay, a class that implements an interface must implement all the methods declared inside the interface. This we discussed in yesterday's session as well. If you want, if your class, if it wants to be a concrete class, and if it wants to implement an interface, okay, your declared class, if it wants to be an concrete class, and if it wants to implement an interface, it should give the definitions, it should give the implementations for all the methods declared inside the interface. Because interface, let us assume if it is having 10 abstract methods, 10 methods without body, okay, 10 abstract methods, and a class is implementing that interface, a class is inheriting that interface. So what the responsibility of that class for being an abstract class, for being a concrete class? It has to give the implementations for all the methods. It has to give the implementations for all the methods. So in that way, a class can implement an interface. So here the syntax I have given, how you can declare an interface in your program. We can use the keyword interface in order to declare the interface in our Java program, then followed by the interface name. Okay, keyword interface followed by the interface name, and use the curly brackets just like a class. And inside this, we can keep both fields as well as methods. So fields, they must be declared like constants. They must be public, static, final. And methods, they must be declared like abstract, by default abstract, public, abstract, abstract, public, method name. Okay, so just go and see internal additions by the compiler. If when you are declaring a constructor, or when you, sorry, not constructor, interface, when you are declaring an interface in your Java program, how that interface will be treated by the compiler. So suppose you should not impose the restrictions on the members of an interface. Okay, you should not impose. Let us assume this is interface I'm declaring over here. Interface keyword I'm using, and printable, the name of the interface I'm using. Printable. Okay, I took one data member, that is minimum, min equals to 5, and the type of that min is integer. As you can see, I did not mention anything over here like public, static, final. Those keywords I did not mention. For the method also, I'm just writing void print. I'm not writing the keyword public and keyword abstract over here. So because by default, whatever members you put inside a interface, you need to make them public, because you're not giving the implementation, and if and you don't have the direct access to these members, isn't it? And if you make them as private, then it is meaningless. Keeping something private inside an interface, it is meaningless, because it is not having the full implementation and you can neither access them. That means, what is the use of keeping the private members inside an interface when it is completely we cannot get any functionality from an interface without making dependent, isn't it? So because of that reason, what we are doing, we are making all the members which we have declared inside the interface as public. Okay, so that other classes or other interfaces, when they inherit this class, they can easily get them. Okay, they can easily get them and they can easily access them. Hopefully you understood. But even if you don't mention these additional keywords before your members and before your methods, what the compiler will do means, when it creates the .class file for this interface, when it creates the .class file, it will add those extra keywords for you. Like it will make that minimum equals to 5 variable. You mentioned only int, but your compiler, what it is doing, it is making that minimum variable like public static final int. You kept only int, but it is adding these three things. Same thing for functions. I mean, same things for methods. You kept only the print method as return type void. You have not kept, you didn't made it as abstract and you didn't made it as public. So your compiler is adding public and abstract keyword by its own. Okay, it is doing that extra job for you. So does it going to add this public final static and public abstract for all the methods and for all the data members of all the entities in your Java program? Means no. Only if it is an interface, your compiler will make them in such a way. Only if it is an interface. So as you can see, I have declared an interface with these members, and I did not mention the extra keywords over here, so that to make them as public, so that to make them as final, static, abstract. But my compiler, it is adding them when it is creating the .class file. So it is my .java source program, but when it is creating the .class file, my compiler, it is adding all those things, all those extra things. Okay. So interface fields are public, static and final by default, and the methods are public and abstract. Remember this one. So the next thing, the relationship between classes and interfaces. This also, to implement the is a relationship between the classes and between the interfaces, or the mixture of classes and interfaces, what keywords we have to use, that we need to remember. And you have to practice this. You have to by heart this. Because many people will do the mistakes over here only at this slide, because they will not use the proper keyword when you are inheriting something from something. Like if you are inheriting a class from a class, or if you are inheriting a class from an interface, or you are inheriting an interface from a class. So all these things we need to know. Okay, so the relationship between the classes and interface, as shown in the following figure, a class extends another class, an interface extends another interface, but a class implements an interface. This thing you have to understand. So if you have a class and class in your inheritance, in your is a relationship, we use extends keyword. This we discussed already. But if you have an interface and a class is implementing that one, then you have to use implements keyword. See here, this class being a normal class, it is not having any abstraction, zero abstraction over here. So if you have that thing, if you have nothing to implement from this class, so whatever extra thing you are going to add, that will become like an extension only, isn't it? Whatever extra thing you are going to add, that will become like an extension. So that's the reason extends keyword. But over here, this interface, it is having nothing. It is having just the blueprint. It is having nothing, isn't it? It is having nothing. So when you add something, when you try to add something, we cannot add. Rather, what we can do, we can simply implement that one. So that's the reason implementation. Over here, when an interface is when an interface is inherited from an interface, so can this interface give the implementation of all the methods which we have specified over here in this interface? No. So whatever abstractions we have over here, we are adding some more abstraction to it. We are adding some more abstract methods to it by using this second interface. So neither the first interface will have the implementation, nor the second interface will have the implementations over here. Both the interfaces will have the abstract methods only. So here we are adding some more abstract methods. We are not giving any implementation. So because of that reason, extends. Here also extends. So between the classes, extends. Interface to class, implements. Between the interfaces, again extends. So can I write like this one more possible case with these two? Is this case achievable? Is this case possible? With our understanding, you just tell me. So I have a class and I have an interface here. Is it possible? Interface like this. And what keyword we have to use over here? Like this. Is it possible? It is not possible at all. The reason, because your class is having the implementations, and interface, it will not accept any implementation. If you inherit an interface from a class, you will inherit, you are inheriting all the implementations, isn't it? That kind of thing is not possible. And moreover, interface is the blueprint, not the class is blueprint of an interface, isn't it? Interface is the blueprint, and interface will not have implementations. Interface will not allow implementations. If you extend an interface or if you implement an interface from a class, ultimately it will get the implementation. So basically this kind of case is not allowed in Java. It is an error. Doing so is an error. You cannot extend or implement an interface from a class. Doing so is a error. So only these three possible cases we have. If you are having easy relationship between the classes, use extends keyword. And if you have easy relationship between interface and class, use implements. And if you have easy relationship between the interfaces, use extends again. So this thing you have to remember. Then we have the interface example, Java's interface example. So a simple interface with only one abstract method I'm declaring. My interface name I'm taking like printable interface. And in this printable interface, I'm taking print method, abstract method, as I'm not giving any body over here. This print method is an abstract method. Then I'm taking a class, because only a class can give the implementation. Then I'm taking a class interface demo. My class name is interface demo, and it is implementing the printable interface, because it is an interface and it is a class, and between class and interface I have to use implements keyword. So printable interface, and my interface demo class is implementing that one. So my responsibility, I must have the definition of this print method inside my class. I must have the definition. I must give the definition of this print method inside my interface demo class. So that I am doing over here, and I am creating the object of my interface demo class, and I am calling this print method. So the simple thing I will show you in my Edit Plus. So first thing, I'm declaring an interface that is printable interface, and in this interface I'm keeping a method print. Okay, just a normal method, abstract method, and I'm not making it as an public abstract. So who will add that public abstract keyword for me? My compiler will add automatically. My compiler will add. Then create a class. My class name is interface demo, because we are demonstrating interface over here, and it should implements printable interface. So when it is implementing, it should give the definition of that method, isn't it? It should give the implementation body. So that is system.out.println of what I kept over there, just a hello message we kept over here, HELLOW. Okay, hello message. Okay, hello message. Close this one, close this, and put the semicolon at the end. Then afterward, yeah, come down and put the PSVM, public static void main of string args. Okay, this is my PSVM, and inside this I'm creating the object interface demo object name. I'm taking obj equals to, I'm instantiating. Interface demo is a class, so I can use that class to instantiate my object. Now my object got instantiated. Obj equals to my method, that is print method I'm invoking. Okay, save it. Now go to compile and execute this program. So my program name, as you can see, I have taken the same name like my where my public method is residing, the class name where my public method is residing. So interface demo.java. So go to tools and compile. Okay, we are getting some issues over here. Print in interface demo can't implement print in printable. So there is some, okay, we must have to make this method as public, I believe. Just we'll go and we'll see. I think we have to make it as public. Yes, because of that reason we got the error. So when we are giving the implementation, we must make that, okay, inside the interface your compiler will add. Inside the interface over here it will make it as public, but when it comes to your class it will not add the public keyword. We must have to make it public specifically. Okay, so now compile. Okay, once again, non-static method print cannot be referenced from a static context. Okay, over here okay, here my mistake. Obj equals to print, no, obj dot print. Save it. Hopefully you got that mistake what I have done. Okay, instead of keeping the dot operator I kept equals to sign, equals to operator. Sorry. Compile it. Okay, it is successfully compiled, and now you run. As you can see, we got hello on the output screen. Okay, so in this way we can, so even if you make this as public abstract public void, okay, that is what it will do, right? It will make, how my compiler, yes, public abstract void print, it will make in that way. So we did same thing. Even if you make like this, it will accept. Yes, and if you run it, you will get the same output, hello message. Or see over here, when you are instantiating, this is my instantiation. I'm using the class constructor over here. Okay, so when you are instantiating, not only the class reference variable, interface class reference variable I used, but you can even use the printable interface reference variable over here. So you can even keep printable over here. We just see whether it will give the output or not. Printable obj equals to new interface demo of. So like this also we can expect the output. We just see what I will get. So now it is true. Then go and run. As you can see, we are getting the output hello. So we have multiple references now. We can use the class reference, or we can use the interface reference. But instantiation, always remember, we cannot instantiate the interface, rather we have to depend on the class only. From here to here, this is instantiation. From here to here, it is reference variable. Okay, in an object, when you create the object reference is required as well as the instantiation is required. Object reference you can take both class as well as interface. Object reference you can take both, but instantiation you can do only with the class, only with the class. Hopefully you understood. Then go here. Then next thing, the relation, this we discussed. And another example, okay, where a single interface we are implementing in more number of classes. Okay, so I will write one interface. The interface name is drawable. Okay, drawable. Then and I'm this interface I'm inheriting in two classes, rectangle and circle. So this interface I'm implementing inside rectangle class as well as in circle class. So I will keep one abstract method inside this drawable class, and that abstract method I will try to invoke using rectangle class, and I'm trying to give the implementation inside rectangle class, and I'm trying to give the implementation in circle class as well. So in real time scenarios, what will happen means there is an involvement of three different parties. Okay, so the team 1, generally the A caller, we can consider them like in an MNC. If you take the example, team 1, the project in charges or the project coordinators, or we can say team leaders, project managers, all those people comes under team 1. So what they will do means they will specify the level of abstraction. They will give you the abstraction in the sense, I need these methods. Okay, they will simply make those methods as abstract methods. They will create interface, they will make those methods as abstract methods, because their job is only to assign the work. So creating abstract methods, they are not writing the body, they are not writing the internal code for those methods. What they are doing, they are just declaring the methods. So generally A caller people, generally the project manager, what they will do, they will create abstract methods and they will deliver the job to the working team. So the second team, team 2, the developers, team 2. So here abstraction, how they will give that abstraction? In with the help of interfaces. They will use interfaces to create that abstraction. Then team 2, the developers, what they will do? They will inherit these interface and they will give the implementation. Then there is another team, team 3. What they will do means, team 3, they will use these implementations. They will use. One will declare, one will give the implementation, and other one is use. Team 1, generally team 3 means your customers, your end party, last party people. They will use those those implementations. They will use that product, they will use that project basically. Okay, in reality, generally the things will go in this way. There is an involvement of different people. Someone will create the interface, some other party will give the implementation, and some other party will use the objects, uses those interface. Okay, here if you read these statements, in real-time scenarios, an interface is defined by someone else, but its implementation is provided by different implementation providers. Moreover, it is used by someone else. So three-party involvement. The implementation part is hidden by the user who uses the interface. Who exactly using this interface, the implementation is completely hidden. Isn't it? The implementation is completely hidden. So just go and see over here. So here you can see the first user, what he is doing. The first user, he is giving the interface. The second user, what he is doing, he is giving the implementation. As in the first interface, we have the draw method, and the second user is giving the implementations for the draw method here. Okay, then the third user is using those implementations. Okay, likewise. So this complete, we will code over here. Okay, so the first one, again I need to write the interface, that is drawable. So I need to use the keyword interface, drawable. Okay, inside it I am keeping a method void draw, isn't it? Draw, simply draw method. And now I'm writing first class. What are my two classes? That is rectangle and circle, right? So first I'm writing the rectangle class. Rectangle class, rectangle implements, okay, drawable. and inside it, as I am inheriting from drawable interface, my class rectangle should give the implementation for my draw method, and it needs to be public void draw of, and into it you put one simple message, like what message they kept, drawing rectangle. Okay, system dot out dot println of, okay, drawing rectangle. Okay, drawing rectangle, close it. Okay, then come down and create another class circle. Circle implements drawable, and into it also you put one method, public void draw. Same, because it is also implementing the drawable interface. So like this draw method can be implemented by different parties in different ways. Hopefully you understood. Always the team leader will have the flexibility to choose the effective one. As we have multiple definitions, multiple implementations, the method which is giving the effective output, effective result, that method will be selected in the project. Okay, so what he's drawing over here, drawing circle, 1 2 3, like this. So now just to check the functionality, what I have to do, the third party create another interface demonstration, and inside this class need to put the public static void main of string args. Okay, come down, and here you put first of all, yes, now when I'm creating the when I want to call this draw method, I have two options. I can call this draw method from rectangle, and I can call the draw method from circle. Okay, so here reference of the interface can be used. Here two ways in which we can achieve this one. First, I will show the first way. It is a memory wastage way, we can say. Here we are wasting more memory, so memory wastage way. First, what I am doing, I am calling the rectangle R. Let us say rectangle R equals to new rectangle of. So now using r dot draw method, I can call r dot draw method. So this r dot draw will call the draw method from rectangle class. Then circle also we have. Circle class C equals to new circle of. So now what will happen? C dot draw. This C dot draw will invoke the draw method from circle class. Hopefully you understood. So now save the program, compile it. Okay, no issues. Then run it. I will get both the messages. Okay, drawing rectangle, drawing circle. But here what I am doing, I am creating two objects. One is R object reference and other one is C object reference. So this is something memory wastage. When you use multiple variables, multiple references, this is something memory wastage. So instead of doing like this, I can use the reference of my interface also whenever I am invoking the implemented method. So that I will do over here. What is my reference interface name? That is drawable. Okay, drawable D. Drawable D is equals to new rectangle of. So now D dot draw I can call. So this will invoke, because this D reference, it is having the instantiation of rectangle class now. This D object reference, it is having the instantiation of rectangle class reference, rectangle class now. So when I say D dot draw, it will invoke the draw method from rectangle class. Okay, it will invoke the draw method from rectangle class. So can I make this D over here and expect? No. So what I have to do, again, when you are instantiating the circle class, use that same reference, or you can even put like this, D equals to new circle of. Some same D we are using over here. Let's just check whether it will give the output or we need to do more modifications. Okay, so D equals to new circle of and D dot draw of. So here this D will invoke the rectangle class draw method, because it is having the instantiation of rectangle class over here. This D dot draw will invoke the circle class draw method, because it is having the instantiation of circle class now. So just go compile, no issues, then run. As you can see, drawing rectangle because it is invoking the rectangle class draw method. Then in the second draw call, as it is invoking the draw method from circle, we are getting the message drawing circle like this. Hopefully you understood. This is also one of the important concept, using the reference of interface and instantiation of a class. This is very, very important. Okay, just go and see what else we have in this. Then yes, there is another example of a more real-time example we are taking over here in order to understand this concept. So here, interface bank we have created. In that we have a method rate of interest, which is completely abstract. Rate of interest method inside the bank interface, it is abstract method, it is not having any implementation. But two banks they are implementing my bank interface. Okay, the first bank name is SBI and the second bank name is PNB, Punjab National Bank. Okay, so SBI, when it is implementing it is giving its own interest rate for this rate of interest method. Its own interest rate it is printing. Okay, then when when PNB is implementing the bank interface, it is giving its own rate of interest, because you may be aware of the market. Different banks will have different interest rates when it is coming to awarding the interest to the customers, isn't it? So SBI, it is implementing with its own interest rate, and PNB, it is implementing with its own interest rate. Hopefully you understood. So this complete thing we will practically do, and we will check what sort of output we will get. Okay, so simply go here and delete this existing one. So here what I have to do, first of all, create the interface bank. Okay, in this bank interface, put the method void rate of interest, abstract method. Come down and create one class which implements this bank interface. So SBI class is implementing bank interface. So when it is implementing, it has to give the implementation, public implementation, public void rate of interest of, come down, and here you put its own interest value, that is a return. Let us say it is giving 9.5. Okay, 9.5. So close it. Then take another class PNB, Punjab National Bank. It is implements bank interface only. Okay, come down, give the implementation specific to PNB, that is a rate of interest of, come down and return something, let us say 9.7 it is giving. Okay, so then close it. So two classes we have implemented, we have created by implementing the bank interface. Now create the public class, that is main method class same interface demo, and in this keep your public static void main of string args off. Okay, come down and keep here the now you create the object. Okay, we need to create the object, so we need to provide the reference as well as the instantiation. So instead of taking the reference of these classes, what I will do, because these two classes they are inheriting from bank interface, so I will take the reference of bank interface. So over here, bank B is equals to new, first you instantiate with SBI. So when I call the method, when I call the rate of interest method using this B object, now it will call the rate of interest method from SBI. It will give the rate of interest of SBI. So how come? System.out.println of, okay, SBI colon rate of interest, ROI, SBI ROI how much, plus call that method b dot rate of interest of, like this. So it is printing the rate of interest of SBI. Simply go compile. Okay, errors we are getting. Class SBI implements bank. So SBI is not abstract and does not override abstract method rate of interest. There is some issue we got. Okay, once again you compile just to understand in which line we are getting the issue. Okay, in sixth line, class SBI is not abstract and does not override abstract method rate of interest. We are overriding now. Maybe the spelling mistake we are doing. Yes, see here, RATE rate of interest spelling. Okay, so that mistake. Okay, still return 9 incompatible type. Okay, return, we said void, it is not returning. What, something like a float you will take or double you will take, because we said void, the function will not, the method will not return anything we said. So here you take double. Okay, so now it is okay. Okay, so return incompatible types. SBI is not abstract and does not override a rate of interest. Again, why we are getting? Achha, here we took void. Okay, double. Here also double, public double of rate of interest. Okay. See the errors what we are getting and how I am modifying those errors, you need to practice. Okay, simply because the return type we took void over here previously. So if you are taking return type void, how come you are going to return some value from that method? It is an error. Okay, so only the return type we got the issue, and I modified that to double, so there are no issues now. Simply go compile, we are not getting any issue, the program got compiled successfully. Now go and run. As you can see, rate of interest of SBI we are getting like 9.5. Come down. Okay, same, use that B object reference and instantiate to PNB, Punjab National Bank. Okay, now system dot out dot print ln of PNB ROI rate of interest. Okay, close it, plus B dot same method rate of interest. Okay, close it. Yeah, you need to close one more bracket, save it. Yes, now it will print both the things by using the same object reference. We have instantiated both the classes and we got the output. This is just class run. See over here, SBI rate of interest 9.5, PNB rate of interest 9.7. Likewise we got the output. Hopefully you understood. So the next thing what we have is multiple inheritance in Java by interfaces. It is supported by Java, supported by interfaces only. The multiple inheritance concept we cannot achieve only with the help of classes, rather we need to depend on the interfaces. Okay, so if a class implements multiple interfaces, or an interface extends multiple interfaces, it is known as multiple inheritance. So extending or implementing the properties from more than one is nothing but the multiple inheritance. So over here, as you can see, we have two classes and we have two interfaces, and your class is implementing two interfaces together at the same time. So this is multiple inheritance, or your interface, it is extending two interfaces together. It is also possible. Your interface can extend multiple interfaces at the same time. So that is also the property of, the object oriented property, that is multiple inheritance. Hopefully you understood. So we will implement any of these. Okay, like we take two interfaces and we try to implement one class from these two interfaces. So what we do is, in first interface we put some abstract methods, and in second interface also we put some abstract methods, and my class which is implementing these two interfaces at the same time has to give the implementation of all these methods. It has to give the implementation for the abstract methods from this first interface, as well as it has to give the implementations for the abstract methods which I have declared inside interface 2. At the same time it has to do that one. So if you achieve such a thing in Java, we call it as an multiple inheritance. Okay. So without much wastage of time, here you can see what I have done. I have created two interfaces. The first interface is printable and the second interface is drawable. Okay, or showable. Printable, showable. In both, I have in first interface I have a method with name print. In second interface I have a method with name show. Both are my abstract methods. So I'm creating a class with name multiple inheritance demonstration, multiple inheritance demo. So this class, what it is doing, it is implementing both the interfaces. Doing like this using comma between the interfaces is completely allowed in Java. So now what this multiple inheritance demo class is doing means, it is inheriting both these interfaces at the same time. Printable interface as well as showable interface at the same time. So now what it will get, it will get the abstract method print and it will get the abstract method show, your multiple inheritance demo class. So in order to be a concrete class, this multiple inheritance demo has to give the implementation for both print as well as show. That it is doing, isn't it? As you can see over here, that it is doing. So when I instantiate this when I instantiate this multiple inheritance demo class, I can call any of these methods. I can call any of these methods. So this is multiple inheritance that we will discuss. So just you remove. Now go to, first you create that interface printable with the print method. So void print method, abstract method. Then you create the second interface showable, and in this you print void show off. Okay, then two interfaces I have created. Now my class multiple inheritance demo implements. What it will implement? It will implement printable comma showable. Both the interfaces it is implementing showable. Okay, both the interfaces it is implementing. So it has its immediate action has to give the definitions for both the print and show method. So first it is giving the definition for print method, print of. So just you put one message system.out.println of print any message, hello it is printing. Okay, then give the implementation for the second interface method, that is show. Okay, show method. So now what it has to give, it has to give any body system.out.println of welcome. Okay, like this it is giving some simple messages, hello and welcome messages. 1 2 3 here also. Okay, like this it is giving simple messages. So now, yes, like this only we took. Yes, like this only we took. So in this class only, or you can go for a separate class like class interface demo, because our program name is interface demo. Inside it, what I am doing, I am creating object for this multiple inheritance demo class. Control C. So what we have to do, multiple inheritance demo, then here you give some object equals to new same multiple inheritance demo of, calling the constructor. Now using this obj dot print I can call, as well as using that obj dot show, right? Show I can call. Okay, both the things I can do. Okay, so now just go compile, print and show identifier expected. What mistake we have done here? Yes, we forgot to put PSVM. Public static void main of string args of. Okay, so come down. See, when I am committing mistakes, what mistake I am committing, so I am getting a type of error. You have to remember that one. Okay, so just save these things. Okay, then compile it. As you can see, it is successful. Then run it. See, hello, welcome. Both the methods we have given the implementations inside this multiple inheritance demo class. So multiple inheritance we are achieving over here. How come? By simply implementing both the interfaces. We are getting the properties from printable interface and we are getting the properties from showable interface. So this is something acquiring the properties from multiple sources. So this is multiple inheritance concept. We achieved that one. Hopefully you understood. Okay, so the next thing, can multiple inheritance be supported through classes in Java? If not, why it is not supported? Why it is supported only through interfaces? Okay, so this concept we discussed when we discussed the inheritance in your second unit. So multiple inheritance is not supported in case of class because of ambiguity. Okay, because we are going to have not the abstract methods but the implementations. So let us assume we have two classes. We have two classes with same method name. Then, and if you are implementing or if you are extending a third class from those two classes, then which class method you are going to acquire, or you are going to acquire both. If you are acquiring both, how to invoke a particular method? So that type of ambiguity will come. Okay, that sort of ambiguity will come. So I will show you in my next slide. Here you can see we took the interfaces over here. We took the interfaces, so no issue at all, no ambiguity at all. Even though the method names are same, no ambiguity at all. Here you can see the first interface, it is having a method with name print. The second class is also having a second interface is also having a method name with print. So when I am implementing my class, so here I will do that same thing. Here, instead of taking show, what I have to do, I have to take print. So now there is no need to give this second implementation. Only one implementation is sufficient because both the methods we are having with same name. Now there is no ambiguity because we have just the abstractions over there. Whether you are giving the implementation for this abstraction or whether you are giving the implementation for this abstraction, it doesn't mean. Java doesn't bother about it, whether to which implementation we are giving the abstraction. Okay, so there is no issue. You can easily compile it without any issues and you can easily execute it. You are getting hello message because we have given only one implementation with hello message. So we are getting hello, and we are having same method names, so there is no ambiguity in case of interfaces. But if you have classes, if I take here like it is a class and here this also like a class, then what will happen? I have to provide the definition over here, isn't it? Because it will not accept abstract. I have to provide the definition. Let us say I kept some statements over here. I kept some statements in this one, and here also this method, it will not accept like an abstract, so definitely I have to provide the definition. So here also I am giving some different definitions. Let us assume some different statements I am keeping. Okay, so when I inherit my third class here, implements it will not accept, so extends I have to take. Extends printable. Now both are my classes. You need to refer this one. Both are my classes, printable and showable. So when I'm overriding my print method, let us assume this is overriding. This is not implementing now. This is overriding because we already have the definition and I'm giving one more definition. So it is overriding. So when you are overriding this print method, to which class you are giving the definition? Overridden concept. To which class? This sort of ambiguity. And moreover, if I am not overriding, let us assume I am not overriding, and I want to access this method, print method, I want to call over here, then also the confusion. If I put print off, now what method I am calling? Whether I am calling this showable class print or I am calling the printable class print. What method I am calling? Again, there is a confusion. So this sort of confusions to avoid, we have this multiple inheritance with reference to classes. It is not supported. It is supported only through what we call interfaces. Only through interfaces, because we will get, if we use classes to achieve multiple inheritance, we will get ambiguity over there in terms of method names. And if we use interfaces only, even if we get the ambiguity, that ambiguity can be easily resolved because interfaces will not have the implementations, rather they have only the abstractions, abstract methods. Hopefully you understood. So the next thing, interface inheritance. So between the interfaces we need to use extends, and between the class and interface we need to use implements. That thing I need to explain. That thing we are explaining in this particular concept. If you go and see over here, the first interface, printable interface I have taken with print method. Then we have another interface. This interface, showable interface, it is extending the printable interface, as you can see. It is extending. So first we have printable, then it is extending, then showable is extending printable, and your class, third class, that is interface demo class, it is implementing all. It is implementing all. So here we have print method. Okay, here we have show method, and when this class, here you need to use extends keyword, and here you need to use implement, because this third one is class, these two are interfaces. Okay, implements, and have this class, this third class, this is interface, this is also interface, and this is my class. So when my class is implementing such a thing over here, it has to give the implementation for not only show method but also to print method. So here I need to have the implementations for both show and print class. Implementation for show as well as print. Both the methods I need to implement. Hopefully you understood. So quickly we will go and we will see. So first, same program. Okay, first the printable interface, inside it I need to make the print method as abstract. Then showable, I want to inherit from printable. So how we can implements keyword I have to use. Then the interface name printable. Okay, then inside it I should put a method with a different name. You can even keep the same method name, then you have to give the implementation only for one. Okay, now show. Okay, so my multiple inheritance demo class, it is not extending because these two are interfaces. So implements only this thing is enough. Okay, keeping only this thing is enough, because this showable interface, it is already getting the print abstract method into it. So if I implement only showable, that's enough. So showable. Okay, so now what I have to do, I have to give the implementations for both the methods. Void print of, so here print system dot out dot println of hello message. Okay, then close it, come down, close it. Okay, and give the implementation for show method as well. Show method, and here you go and put uh, println world. Okay, so this also done. So come down, interface demo, static void main, and create the object for this class and call both the methods obj.print as well as obj.show. That's it. So between interfaces, yes, here no implements, it is extends. Between the interfaces we need to use extends. Showable, printable, both are interfaces, so we need to use extends. Then this is class and this is interface, we need to use implements. Hopefully you understood. So then go compile, it is successful. Yeah, it is giving error. Interface expected here. So did I took class over here? It is not class, all are my interfaces. Interface, this is also interface. Okay, printable is an interface, showable is also an interface. Between the interface I should use extends keyword. Multiple inheritance demo is class, showable is interface, so I need to use implements. Void show, void print, cannot implement show in yeah, public I need to make them here. Public, this show also public. Public, save. Now compile. Yes, we got the output. Then run, you can check the output. Hello world we are getting. Hello from print method, world from show method we are getting. Both are abstract in printable interface and showable interface. Then we are implementing only the showable interface, which in turn getting the print method, print abstract method. And because this showable interface is having two methods now, two abstract methods now, and by implementing this showable interface, my multiple inheritance demo class has to give the implementations for both the methods, both the abstract methods, that is print and show, that it is doing. And inside interface demo class we are creating the object of multiple inheritance demo class object, and using that object we are invoking both print and show methods. Hopefully you understood. So the next concept what we have here, the default methods. How can we put default methods in an interface? So previously we said only final variables and abstract methods we can keep inside an interface, but now from Java 8 default methods also supported in a interface. So how we can keep an default method inside an interface with a body, and how we can access it, let's see with an example. Okay, so here you can see this example, drawable interface, and in that I took the draw method and as well as the message MSG method. And this MSG method, it is not an abstract method, as you can see. This MSG method, it is having the body as well. It is having the body as well, and it is not an abstract method. So method with body you can keep inside an interface only if it is default. So make it as a default. Okay, we are making it as a default and we are keeping it. And then I'm creating a class rectangle which is implementing the drawable interface. So when it is implementing the drawable interface, it has to give the definition only to the abstract methods. It no need to give the implementation for a default method, a method with body. It no need. If it gives the definition for this method with body, it will comes under method overriding concept. Okay, that I don't want to mix up over here. I just want to call both the methods. I want to give the implementation for draw method, and I want to create the object of this rectangle class, and using this rectangle class I want to call both the methods. Or we can say I can create the reference. I can take the reference of this drawable interface and I can instantiate that drawable reference, object reference with rectangle class. Okay, take the reference of drawable method and instantiate it using rectangle class. So now using that object, then call the draw as well as message method. So that I will show you quickly. Remove all these things. Take one interface first of all. Interface with name drawable. Okay, and inside it put one void print method or draw method, let us say draw method, and take another one method with body, so not abstract method, so make it as default void and msg. Method name is message, and in it I am keeping one simple message out dot print ln of default method. Okay, so come down, close it. That's it. This is my interface. Now create one class. Excuse me. Create one class with name, as we are practicing here, default demo. Okay, default demo we will take down. Here you take rectangle. A rectangle implements drawable. So now this class, it has to give the implementation only for draw method. Public void draw. Come down and give the implementation. Implementation is nothing but body of the method. Print ln of, okay, drawing rectangle. It has given the implementation. Now come down, so take another class. So this is my default demo or interface demo. Take the class name interface demo, because no need to change the program name once again. Interface demo. Come down and here you create the object of a rectangle. Instantiate the object rectangle by using the reference drawable. So how come? Drawable d equals to new rectangle of. So this is done. So now using this d object, I can call both draw method as well as d dot msg method. Save it. Okay, now come over here, compile. Just getting issues. Okay, again the same mistake. I forgot to take the PSVM. Public static void main of string args. Okay, come down, close it, and you put all these things within here like this. Okay, sorry. Okay, now save it, compile it. Okay, compilation successful. Now run it. As you can see, drawing rectangle and default method. So this is also possible. We can keep a default method also inside an interface. Okay, a method with body, but it needs to be a default. Okay, like this you can do. Next thing, a static method also we can keep within a interface. Okay, and it is also allowed after Java version 8 only, 8.0 only. So before Java 8, you can't keep static and default both methods. Okay, the static methods and default methods, they are allowed only after the what we call Java 8 version. So simply go and make it like yeah, over here you can see the draw method we have taken like an abstract method, and this cube method like a static method I have taken, static int cube, and it is returning the cube of the supplied number. So then my rectangle class, it is implementing that drawable interface. So it has to give the implementation only for that draw method. It need not to give the implementation for this cube because it is already having body. Okay, so it is giving the implementation only for draw method. So then what we are doing, inside my public class, I'm creating the object of that drawable, taking the reference of drawable and instantiating with the help of rectangle class. Then d dot draw I can call, and I can even call this cube method just by taking the reference of drawable class name, because it is a static member. Static members, we cannot depend on object. In order to invoke the static members, we should not dependent on objects, isn't it? Directly with the help of class name or interface name, we can invoke them. That I'm doing here. So simply I will show you. Just go here and modify this same. Instead of message, take here cube, and instead of default, make it like static void cube, and this method should take one value and should return one value. So I'm taking int x, and here I'm returning the cube of that number, x multiplied with x multiplied with x cube. Okay, so next rectangle, it is implementing drawable, and it is giving the implementation for draw method. And then inside interface demo, I'm creating the object of my drawable interface by instantiating it with the rectangle class. Then d dot draw, it is acceptable. Then system dot out dot println of, okay, cube value. Okay, simply call that d dot cube of some 12. I'm taking 12 and I want the cube value of 12. So it should print that. So it should invoke the draw method, which is abstract in drawable class and implemented inside rectangle, sorry, abstract in drawable interface and implemented in rectangle class. Then the cube method, which is static inside drawable interface. So because of that reason, not d here, we have to call using drawable. Okay, interface name we need to use over here, drawable dot cube. So directly I can call this cube method because it is static with the help of interface name. Okay, no need to depend on object. So that I will show you. Go tools and compile. Issues here, unexpected return value, void type. So here again we took this like void. It is not void, it is int. Okay, because it is returning a value, so it should be int. So save it. Now compile it. It is successfully compiled. Now run it. As you can see, it is returning 12 multiplied with 12 multiplied with 12. There is cube value of 12, and it is also invoking the draw method. So hopefully you understood how it is doing. Okay, so then the next thing we have, so this is something keeping a static method with body inside an interface, and how we can invoke that also I have shown. Okay, so no need to depend on object of the class or interface. Directly with the help of interface name, we can invoke the static method which is there inside your interface. Okay, so one more thing, can we call that method directly without implementing the rectangle or without implementation? Because here we are not implementing the cube method, isn't it? So this you remove. Yeah, because we cannot instantiate. If I remove this rectangle class, we cannot instantiate. I think instantiation is also not required, right? So directly go and remove this. And here if I remove this, okay, so draw method is not there. Only static method I am keeping inside an interface, and that static method I'm trying to invoke directly like this inside my static area. Directly like this I'm trying to invoke. So let's just see what output I will get. Yeah, it is executing, as you can see. Then run. It is giving the cube value of 12. So inside an interface, we can keep a static method with body, and that static method you can call directly with the help of drawable interface name, directly with the name follow dot cube. In this way you can call. Hopefully you understood this phenomenon what I have done over here. Okay, so but the static area is must required, static area is must required, and in that static area only you can call that static method. Okay, so definitely I'm not inheriting this drawable interface, I'm not implementing my any of the abstract method from drawable interface. Simply I kept a cube method with body and static method with body inside my drawable interface, and I'm calling that directly inside my PSVM. Hopefully you understood this thing. Okay, this is also another important thing that we need to remember. Then the nested interfaces in Java. We can nest an interface within another interface. Let me just check the time. Okay, it is almost. Okay, we can keep one interface into another interface, or we can keep one interface into another class. Two things are possible. We can either keep one interface into some other interface, or we can keep one interface into another class. In both the cases, you have to depend on the outer interface or outer class in order to get the access from inner interface. So with complete picture and program example we will discuss this thing, no need to bother about it. So an interface that is declared within another interface or class is known as nested interface. If you put an interface inside another interface or inside a class, we call it as an nested interface. The nested interface are grouped are used to group related interfaces so that they can be easily maintained. So if you want to maintain the interfaces or classes easily, we are going for the nesting concept. We simply declare an outer interface, and inside that interface we put all the related interfaces. So in that way we can group the related stuff. Okay, the nested interface, the inner interface must be referred by the outer interface or class. So whatever outer class name or outer interface name we have to depend on that in order to access the nested interface one. So it cannot be accessed directly. So here you can some points you need to remember whenever we are going for nesting of interfaces. Okay, the first point is nested interface must be public, because making it private, it doesn't make any sense if it is inside an interface. So if you keep an interface as nested into another interface, must make the inner interface as public, then only it will become accessible. But it can be private when you keep the interface inside a class. If you declare the interface inside a class, you can make that inner interface as private. Okay, nested interfaces are declared static implicitly. Implicitly means by default. As you can see over here, we have taken the outer interface, and in that we are keeping nested interface. So in this way we can put, okay, outer interface, curly brackets, and inner interface. So if you are keeping the same thing within a class, so outer class you have to take, and inner interface you have to. Okay, inner interface you have to. So that means here we have the definitions, and here we have the declarations. Here both, here also we have the declarations, here also we have the declarations, no problem at all. Okay, here also same thing, outer will have the definitions, inner will have the declarations, no problem. But can we keep a class within an interface? It is not allowed. We can't keep a class within an interface. It is not allowed, because class will have the implementations and your interface will not allow the implementations. Okay, so go to the example of the nesting of interfaces. So when you kept an interface within another interface, so here two things we are taking. We are taking an interface within another interface. So this thing to implement, so as you can see here, the outer interface name is showable, and the inner interface name is message. Outer interface is having one abstract method with name show, and inner interface is having one message, one method with name message. Okay, now if a class is implementing the interface, I want to implement only the inner interface. Okay, I don't want the outer one, I want to implement only the inner interface. How come? I have to depend on outer interface also. That is, class name followed by implements keyword showable dot message. So here message is internal to the showable interface. So because of that reason we are taking showable dot message. So when you take like this, yeah, for how many methods I have to give the implementation? I have to give the implementation only for message method. I need not to give the implementation for show, because I'm not implementing showable interface. I'm implementing only the method which is only the interface which is inner to showable interface. So showable dot message doing like this is enough, and I'm implementing only the message interface here. I'm not implementing showable. It doesn't mean that I'm implementing both. Okay, remember this one. So now I'm implementing only the message method, and I'm invoking that one. So quickly go and check. Yes, over here just delete it, and now you first you create the outer interface, that is showable, and in it you put one method void, that is show. Okay, it is an abstract method. Then take second nested interface, that is printable. Okay, printable or message. Okay, we took message over there, right? So here also you take message interface, and in it I'm creating msg off. Okay, then come down, create one class, and class name is nesting interface implements what? I want to implement only the inner interface, that is showable dot, here this s needs to be capital. Okay, showable dot, the inner interface name is message. So like this. So then come down, and here what you have to give? You have to give the implementation only for a message method, public void msg, and here okay, hello message or something, system dot out dot print ln of hello message. Okay, dot close it. Okay, like this. Then come down and interface demo, because all these comes under interface demo only. Interface demo, and come down here, you put your public static void main of string args of, like this, and into it you put what we need to put, string args, public static void main string args, and into it nesting interface ns ni. Okay, ni, because it has given the implementation. Nesting interface equals to new same thing, nesting interface of, call the constructor, default constructor. So now ni dot msg I can call. Okay, save it, go compile, just see, no issues, and you can run and you can get the message from nested interface, that is hello message we are getting, abstract method of the nested interface. So now see here, I'm using the both reference as well as the instantiation of my class only. If I want to use the reference of my inner nested interface, so how I can? I need to depend on outer interface as well, that is showable dot, what is the inner class, inner interface, that is message, showable dot message. Here you put sm equals to new nested interface of sm dot msg. Now the outer interface reference I'm using and class instantiation I'm using, so it is same, so I can invoke the message. So just go compile, compilation, it is successful, then run it, you will get the same output. As you can see, hello message you will get. Hopefully you understand. So the next thing we have the nested interface keeping within a class. So here also same thing, I need to depend on the class in order to get the access from nested interface. So how come? Simply you make this as a class. Okay, class and remove this abstract method, because abstract methods are not allowed inside a class. Only the interface, complete interface you can nest. So now showable dot message. Okay, same thing. I have given the implementation. So here, yeah, implements showable dot message and void message. We have given the implementation, and here showable dot message, same thing. Rest of all same. Hopefully, just compile it. Yes, it is successful. Then run it. See, we got the message, hello world. So only thing which we have to change here is we need to remove the abstract method, because abstract methods are not allowed inside a class. Hopefully you understood. So then the next thing, just go to the slide and see, we have the concept of, yeah, we need to know the differences between an abstract class and an interface. So both abstract class and interface may look similar, but there are a lot of differences between them. Okay, abstract class and interface, they both can't be instantiated. We cannot instantiate. We can use the object reference, but we cannot instantiate your abstract class as well as your interface, because they are not complete. They are having abstract methods, and abstract methods, they are lagging in terms of body of the method. So if you don't have the body, you cannot instantiate. Remember this one. So they may look similar, but there are a lot of difference. This similarity, whatever we discussed just now, that is one such similarity between abstract class and interface. It doesn't mean that they are same. We have a lot of differences between abstract class and interface that we will discuss over here. The first one, abstract class can have abstract methods as well as non-abstract methods. We can put both abstract as well as non-abstract methods. Abstract methods means methods without body. Non-abstract methods means methods with body, that is concrete methods. We can put both in a abstract class, but that is not allowed in case of an interface. Inside an interface, only abstract methods are allowed. Before Java 8.0, only abstract methods are allowed, but after Java 8.0, it is allowing both default as well as static methods that we have seen in our discussion. So after Java 8.0, it is allowing default as well as static methods also. Okay, so then this is the first difference. Then the second difference, abstract classes does not support multiple inheritance. Using abstract class, we cannot achieve multiple inheritance, but whereas interfaces, using interfaces, we can achieve the multiple inheritance, just that we have seen with example. Then abstract classes can have final, non-final, static, non-static variables, but whereas your interface, it can have only the static final variables. No other type of variable is allowed. Non-final and non-static members are not allowed within an interface, but inside an abstract class you can keep both. Okay, abstract class will provide the implementation for an interface. You can implement an abstract class from an interface, but an interface, it cannot be implemented from an abstract class, because abstract class can have concrete methods also, which is not possible to keep inside a interface. If you inherit an interface from an abstract class, there is a possibility that your interface will gain concrete methods. So that is not allowed in Java. So your abstract class can be inherited from an interface, but your interface, it can't be inherited from an abstract class. Remember this one. This is another difference. So the abstract keyword is used when you are creating an abstract class, but to create an interface, we use interface keyword. So the keyword difference. Okay. An abstract class can extend another Java class and implement multiple interfaces. Extending other Java classes as well as implementing other interfaces is allowed within an abstract class. But the same thing, your interface, it can only extend other interfaces. It cannot implement other, it cannot extend other classes or abstract classes. Okay, your interface, your abstract class can extend other abstract classes as well as normal classes, and your abstract class can also implement other interfaces. But your interface, it can only extend other interfaces. Other situations are not allowed, like extending normal classes, extending abstract classes. These type of things are not allowed. Your interface can only extend other interfaces in Java. Remember this one. So the next thing, an abstract class can be extended using the keyword extends. Whenever you are extending an abstract class, you can use the keyword extends. But an interface to implement, we have to use the keyword implements. Remember this one. This is another difference. Okay. Eighth difference is a Java's abstract class can have class members like private, protected. You can keep within a abstract class, but inside an interface you can only keep the public static members, isn't it? Public static. Just now we have seen public static and final members. We cannot make them as protected. Okay, they are by default public. Okay, the example how we can create an abstract class here they have shown, and the example how we can create an interface here they have shown. One major difference, simply abstract class is used to achieve the abstraction, partial abstraction, somewhere between 0 to 100%. We cannot guarantee that we can achieve 100% of abstraction using abstract classes. There may be concrete methods, there may be implementation. So if you are giving the implementations, no sort of abstraction, isn't it? But whereas your interfaces, using interfaces, we are achieving 100% abstraction, full abstraction, because we have only the abstract methods inside an interface. Hopefully you understood. So then the example we need to understand using these abstract classes and abstract methods, interfaces, regular classes, all I'm going to put inside a single program and I will demonstrate. See here, I'm creating an interface. I'm declaring an interface with 4 abstract methods, A, B, C, D, 4 abstract methods. And I'm creating a class B, and I'm implementing A. But inside that class B, I don't want to give the full implementations, all implementations like A, B, C, D implementation. Rather, what I'm doing, I'm giving the implementation of only one method, that is C method. And I'm ignoring other methods, other method implementation. So can I make this C class as a concrete class with these abstract methods? Not possible. So what I have to do, I have to make this C class, B class as abstract. Then only omitting the implementations for B, for A, B, and C is D is allowed. I'm giving the implementation only for C. I'm not giving A, B, D implementation. So my class, it cannot be a concrete class, because when it is inheriting this 4, okay, my concrete class, my class B, it is inheriting all A, B, C, D. But I'm giving the implementation only for C. I'm maintaining A, B, D as abstract only. In my subclass also, I'm maintaining them as abstract. So this class B, it is becoming like it is containing both abstract as well as non-abstract methods. So that is not allowed inside a concrete class. Rather, it is allowed inside an abstract class. That I am doing over here. I am making my B class as an abstract class. So then after, yes, in order to give the full implementation, I am using another class, M class. So in this M class, I am extending B. So B class, it is having one concrete method and 3 abstract methods. So for those 3 abstract methods, I have to give the implementation. So now I'm giving the implementations for A class, B class, and D class. C class implementation, it is already given by B. So I no need to give the implementation once again. Even if I give, it will overwrite, isn't it? So I'm not giving the implementation over here. Rather, I'm maintaining it as it is. So now my M class, it is a concrete class. It can be instantiated. Can I instantiate this B class? I can't, because it is an abstract class. I can't instantiate B class. Okay. But now M class, as it is a concrete class, I can instantiate this M class and I can get the methods. I can get the object of this M class and I can call the methods from this. Hopefully you understood. So quickly we go and we see how we can make this program working. So first what I am doing, I am taking a class A. Okay, in it I am keeping all my methods. A method abstract, okay, void B method abstract, void C method abstract, and the last method void D method also abstract. So now I'm coming down, I'm creating my class B. Okay, so this is not class. I cannot keep abstracts inside class. It is interface A. So B implements, okay, A. So I'm giving the definition of only a method. Public void a of, come down, and here you print system dot out dot println of, okay, I am a, okay, inside a I am keeping I am a, okay, a method. So I don't want to give the implementation of rest of the methods like b, c, d. So what I have to do, I have to make my class as an abstract class, then only it will allow, otherwise it will not allow. So next thing, I'm making my m class as concrete, and I'm implementing implements b. So b is having three abstract methods. It is here, it is not showing, but it is inheriting. It is inheriting all abstract methods and giving the implementation for only one. So rest of three like b, c, d, they are still abstract over here. So that implementations I am doing over here. So public void b of. So come down here, you print system dot out dot println of I am b. Okay, I am b. So then close it, declare one more method. I will copy the code, it will save the time. Just come down and make it as c, I am c. Okay, one more, make it as d, I am d. Now my concrete class m class has given the definitions for all. Okay, so now class interface demo, that's it, interface demo, and in it put your PSVM, public static void main of string args. Okay, come down, and here you create the object. I need the object. So what class reference I will, because a interface is having all the methods, so I will use the reference of a class, a interface. So a okay, this is the reference. Now instantiation, can I instantiate using this abstract class? Not possible, because it is not having the full implementations, and moreover class b is not a normal class, it is an abstract class. We need a concrete class in order to get the instantiation. So that concrete class is m class. So take the new, instantiate using m class, new m of. Now using this a object, I can call a method, I can call b method, I can call c method, and I can call d method. So like this, that's it. Save the program, program got saved. Just go compile. Okay, it is giving some error, not implements, because m is a class as well as b is also a class. I need to use extends over here. Okay, extends here, it is not implements, rather it is extends. Between the classes we need to use extends. B is an abstract class, so we need to use extends. I forgot to compile. Successful. Run. As you can see, am a, am b, am c, am d, all methods I'm invoking, output I'm getting. So normal interface, abstract class, concrete class, three things I have explained. Normal interface, it can have full abstraction. Okay, abstract class, it is having the partial abstraction. Why partial abstraction means? Because it has implemented only one method, and rest of the three methods, they are still abstract over here. So this is partial abstraction. And over here class m, it is giving the full implementations. Okay, b, c, d. A is already implemented, so no need to give once again the implementation. So it is giving full implementations, and it is not having any abstraction. So class m, it is 0% abstraction, so it is a concrete class. So using that concrete class, we have instantiated our object reference, and we invoked all our methods a, b, c, d. So in this way we can achieve, we can discuss the abstract classes, interfaces, and what we call the concrete classes. So our next concept after the discussion of these what we call concept of interfaces, we need to discuss about packages, that I will post in a separate video. First I thought of posting in a single video, but it is taking more time. It is almost near to 2 hours just for the discussion of packages. It took me around 2 hours. Interfaces, it took me around 2 hours. So the next rest thing we will discuss in our next video. Okay, thank you very much.